And we say that in as much as we are all in our various programs and it is expected of us, it is expected of us to actually, at the end of the day, provide some answers to certain issues, to certain problems in our various area of studies. It is again that what are the drivers of our problems? And in addition, on the basis of that, we'll be able to know the implication of these problems and what we can do to solve the problems. And in our a clearly defined process and procedure, which we talked about the various stages that are involved in carrying out research. We talked about the identification and definition of a research problem. We talked about classification of the problem. We talked about collection of pertinent data. We talked about analysis of data. We also talked about conclusion and recommendations. Then lastly, the dissemination, because you don't only conduct research, you conduct research with the aim of solving problems. Because I said, like I said, research is a problem solving activity. And as such, we must try as much as we can to see how we can delay our so I think today there is one fundamental issue I want to look at as far as research is concerned, because that is the backbone of any given research. That is the major fundamental of research. That is one of in fact, that is the major issue that actually informed any given research, which is the concept of a research problem. I hope we are together.
We are with you, sir.
Well, with you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Research
We're
problem,
together, sir.
because you can never, other things that I think I wanted us to discuss before this one, they are theoretical that we can all discuss about them and actually understand, even if we don't discuss. But one of the most technical things that I think we need to discuss is this research problem of a thing. And research problem actually, like I said, is the backup one of a research. Any research without a problem is not a research, because it is meant to answer or clear certain problems or certain issues. It is meant to solve problems. And for that reason, any attempt to do a research, it means we must have a reason as to why we're doing the research. It means we should be able to clearly establish the basis of our research. And this basis can clearly be seen within the context or the confines of our research problems. What do we mean by a research problem? What do we mean by a research problem? I know in the course of your readings, in the course of your interaction with different people at different fora, you have been hearing about the word research problem. But I don't know whether you have taken your time to find out what a research problem is. You know, a number of scholars actually talked about the idea of research problem. But yet, if you go through most of the research work, either at the undergraduate level or at the postgraduate level, you will tend to see that there's a common problem that runs through all the research reports that students present at this level. The common problem is nothing other than the fact that they don't have the clear understanding of what a research problem is all about. A research problem is not all about the substantive problem. Many people tend to confuse research problem with substantive problem. For example, if you want to look at the problem of kidnapping in Nigeria, if you ask someone to tell you, or maybe you want to look at the impact of kidnapping on human security in Zamfara State, somebody will tell you that the research problem is has to do with some of the things that what do you call it? The kidnapping actually creates in Zamfara State. Some of the impact, some of the things that actually such as loss of lives and properties, displacement of people, and so on and so forth. That is not the issue. The issue is that a problem in research is usually considered from the point of view of the fact that since a research is meant to fill in some gaps, to contribute to knowledge, is for you to be able to find out from the previous studies that have been conducted by other scholars what area of kidnapping as a phenomenon, as a problem in Nigeria that those previous studies have not covered. Because if you are not careful in doing that, you may end up repeating the same thing somebody did in the same context of research. So in other words, we are saying that in trying to come to terms with the research problem, it means you need to identify the gap in the existing studies, in the existing stock of knowledge. A number of people have done a lot of researches on kidnapping in Nigeria, a number of them, many of them. But if you check the literature, you discover that there are a lot of things that they didn't cover in terms of the methodology, in terms of the context or the location of the research, and also in terms of the subject of research, that's the target population. So you can build your research problem along that those parameters. Am I communicating? So it's very, very important for us to establish that, because if you don't do that, the moment you meet it at that level, it will affect the entire research you are going to conduct. The entire engagement in the process of the research will be faulty because you have failed to establish a clearly defined research problem. Because everything you will do in a research must reflect your research problem. Are we together? So research problem has to do with those issues that appear in the minds of the people, that appear in the society, that are not yet being clearly examined. Those issues or those questions that have been disturbing the society and have not yet been answered. For example, you can have a particular trend or a particular phenomenon that has been disturbing a particular community. People have known something about it. Government put in place certain measures to come to town to contain those particular issues, but yet they persist. You can establish your problem on the basis of the persistence of a problem, of an issue. You understand? Another example I can give you is that if, for example, somebody conducted a research about domestic violence, for example, in Abuja metropolis, domestic violence against women in Abuja metropolis, you can see that the research has a clear direction that is only looking at how this violence is committed against women alone. And therefore, The target population for that particular study is meant to look at domestic violence that is committed only against women. If you come to do another research on domestic violence in the same location, you can decide to say, okay, a number of studies have been conducted on domestic violence in Nigeria, and we also have a particular study that conducted in FCT or Abuja Metropolis. However, that particular study was able to elicit information on the feelings of the victims of violence. That is the married couples. Without hearing for the point of view of the other couple, that is the male couple. Therefore, this marriage is what we are going to ask to what the previous teach in trying to establish this particular problem. So, in another dimension is that it's likely the research that was conducted on the victims of domestic violence, that is the women, either women combined, it's likely the ones earlier conducted only use quantitative approach. You may decide to say, okay, for the purpose of having the detailed knowledge about this particular problem, for the purpose of having the detailed knowledge of the impact of this problem on the victims of domestic violence, your own approach is going to be qualitative. And therefore, on that basis, you are going to use a method like, let's say, maybe LCD, that is what going to discussion, which we are going to discuss about them. You will discuss about all these methods later. Either LCD, you will discuss about in-depth interview, you will discuss about key interview, and so on and so forth. So you can also develop your research program on the basis of the location of the research. It's likely there are a countless number of studies on domestic violence in Nigeria, but none was conducted in LCT. Therefore, you can decide to, okay, since we can have a number of cases of domestic violence among married couples eventually, but yet, there is no single study conducted in FCT. Am I communicating? No single study conducted in FCT about domestic violence among married. Therefore, this research intends to interrogate this particular issue, owing to the fact that social setting, social arrangement varies. Because every social setting, every social group has its own peculiarities, has its own peculiar features that makes it different from other ones. The same phenomenon, if it is examined in community A, and if you take the same issue to be examined in community B, you may find a different outcome because they don't have the same feelings, they don't have the same emotion, they don't have the same perception about the social reality around them. So for that reason, that becomes one of the basis of your own research. I hope we are together. Hello, am I very fast?
Yes.
Am I fast?
Yes, sir. We are with
Yes, sir. We are fine, sir. We are fine, sir.
no.
Sir, we are yes, sir. We are fine, sir. We are fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So that's very
Yes,
good.
sir.
That is how you have it. But another
We are okay.
question now
We
is
are
that
communicating, sir.
what are the all right? The question now is that what are the sources of research problem? How do we establish the research problem? How do we know that there is a problem? What is that? Can we use to be able to come up with our research problem? What is that? Number one is what? Our personal experience. One of the sources of research problem is personal experience. Personal experience. Of course, it's possible I was going somewhere, something for the first time, the same thing happened for the second time, happened for the third time. Then I begin to wonder, what is
On that basis, you can research, okay, let me find out. You know, it's a social problem. Like these cases of having this emergency system that we have in our society that is all over the northern part of the country. There are some people that they always find it shocking. They find it shocking what the way they will see them moving around, moving about without doing anything, always begging. You understand? So people may decide to ask questions. What is happening? So that may become part of the reason why you can be able to establish the justification for a research. Your personal experience about a given phenomenon. Number two, we also have extant literature. Extant literature is is one of the sources of research problem because, of course, when we're talking about extant literature here, it has to do with all documents, either empirical or non-empirical. All documents, either empirical or non-empirical, that have been written by other scholars on the subject matter, that have been written by other scholars that are related to your research problem. You can consult with them. By going through those documents, you'll be able to identify those areas that they didn't cover. So literature also provides you with the basis able to establish clearly your problem. Number three, we have theories. We have theories. Of course, theories also have been establishing and defining a research problem. Every theory will tell you anytime we have circumstance A, it will lead to circumstance B. And if we have circumstance B, then it will also generate circumstance C. Every theory have it. And if we have this circumstance C, then the only thing we can be able to come to terms and address it is to adopt measure A and B. Every theory has that. Every theory will tell you the magnitude of a problem, the concept of a problem, the result of a problem, and the solution. What can we do? And here's the problem. Every theoretical version has that. So, through the review of theories related to the field of your study, based on the realities of ground, you can equally be able to say, okay, let me find out. Kalmar says that in society there are two major classes, and the two classes are always antagonistic. They are always fighting each other. And in that system, everything that belongs to government is being controlled by the people at the top, the people who are the only class, according to the math. You will decide to find out. And he said that the only solution to the problem of any given society is for you to break away. It's for you to radically revolt against the existing system because the system is not in your favor. The system is operating to serve the interests of the few. You can decide to find out what Kalmar is saying based on the reality being programmed. Another source of research problem is previous studies. Previous studies is related to external literature, but it's different. The external literature, everything, including books, including journal articles, both theoretical and empirical. But this one is specifically concerned about previous studies on the subject matter by some scholars. So you can clearly establish that by going through what Mr. A, Mr. P, Mr. C did about the same subject matter. When you go through them, you must be able to identify gap A, B, C that they didn't cover. Therefore, for that reason, you can say, okay, since they have been able to provide you with answers on question A, on question B, on question C, but they have not been able to provide answers on question E, L, G, H, and I. There, my research will try to cover 3 out of these other areas that have not been answered. We are already establishing that. So that at the end of the day, if anybody asks you what is the contribution to knowledge as far as this is concerned, the simplest thing you can do is to identify those areas that previous study didn't cover, and what have you done in trying to fill in those gaps? Those things become part of the contribution to knowledge of your own research. I hope we're together. I hope we're together.
Yes, we are together.
Yes, sir.
And one of the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
that is
We are together, sir.
Sir,
it is
I
on
have
that basis that
I have sir, I have
the
a
scholars
question,
argue that
please.
one of the fundamental.
Can
Okay,
I
what's
ask
your
a question,
question?
please?
But let me
Sorry,
let me go.
sorry to draw you.
Let me reach a point. Then I give you the opportunity to talk.
Okay, sir.
It is on this basis that we said that one of the fundamental qualities of research problem is novelty. It has to be novel. It has to be something new, because you don't repeat what someone did. You don't repeat what other people did. If you are doing the same thing that they did, then you should make sure that you are doing it in a different way, so that you can say, okay, we did the same thing, but however, my own objective is different from their own. My own approach is different from their own. My own target population is different from their own. The methodology I use is different from their own. These are part of the things we need to cover. Okay, can you come up with your question? Who is that has a question? Hello?
My name is Ivy Adelekwa, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Okay.
My name is Ivy Adelekwa, sir. It's not really a question, but I wanted a further explanation. A further explanation, sir, if it's not a problem on number 1, sources of research, things. I wanted to find more explanation on number 1. So that was just what, if it's possible, sir.
What is that?
You were giving us sources of research. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted
personal experience.
Yes.
Number 1.
I didn't
personal experience.
I didn't get it up because the reception was a little bit off from my side. That was just why I wanted to call you back, sir.
You want clarification? So you can see that it's not our fault, but no problem, we can still help you. Since the problem is that of data, but no problem, we can still give you a brief about it. You see?
Very grateful, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's possible maybe you are from the north. You are from the north. And you decide to travel to the south. And when you get to the south, for instance, there is this particular, we call them private security outfits. For this one, they are not. Have you ever heard of this Amotekum in the southern part of in the south? Is it south or southwest? Amotekum. They are other outfits that are owned by the states.
Southwest.
Southwest. Thank you very much. So it's likely you travel out all these to the southwest, all these kind of security outfits, trying to provide safety to the members of the society. Then looking at what is happening in the northern part of the country, based on your knowledge, maybe there is nothing like that is effectively happening. Understand my point? That effective. It's likely you have it, but they are not effective. But when you get there, you see that those areas are having effective policing agencies that are not owned by the federal government, different from the police, different from other formal law enforcement agencies. So you decide to say, okay, you want to find out what they do. You want to find out how they do it. You want to find out the challenges they face in trying to do it. So that maybe it's likely if you have been able to get something new from there, you can say, okay, is that the case? We can replicate the same thing here in the northern part of the country. Okay, study the nature of operation in terms of how manage issue of criminality, and do they arrest? If they arrest, how do they manage cases of suspects that have been arrested? Am I communicating? To see whether they
Yes, sir.
also engage in this extrajudicial killing, because there are some of these kind of agencies that actually apply this crude method of managing criminality. There are a number of litigations against them. You understand? So all these things you can use them as part of your personal experience. And for example, also you may decide to maybe on your way out, you are traveling from one place to another. If you travel from let's say from Jos on your way to your Bauchi, your Bay, Maiduguri, I want to tell you that the environment you meet there is completely different from the environment you meet in the south, in the southwest. Am I communicated? For example, where I did my NYSC, I did my own in Zamfara. And honestly, when I went there is something that I saw there that actually attracted my attention. If I had the time that time, honestly, I would have conducted a research about that particular issue. But I couldn't, I don't have time. So this is a part of it because when we went there, their NYC camp was in Safi. The community where I left, where I lived, they have this attitude of every morning, every morning and evening, you find people coming together, sit down in one place. Majority of about 60% of the members of the community, you see them assembling themselves. There's a way they used to worship. You understand? There's a and which is completely different from what is obtainable in KP here, where I come from. So I started asking questions. I started asking people questions. What's the motivation in that? What do they stand to gain? Then people started giving me answers. So, like I said, I didn't mean it is now I'm coming across that, but I would say, okay, let me convert it to a research undertaking, and we'll establish and come with my findings. You understand? So, personal experience has to do with something that has been happening. You have been seeing it happening, and people have been making effort to solve the problem, but it still persists. It still persists. Maybe in your community, you have a vigilante. But every week, armed robbers will visit you. And you have been paying the vigilante. Every week, armed robber will visit you to greet you. I'm not communicating. This is personal experience. And for that reason, someone or within the community can just say, okay, let me find out what is happening. What is happening? You begin to hear from the point of view of the members of the public and even the vigilante security outfit themselves. Sir, you can do a qualitative research. You can ask them, among the vigilante, we are aware that this community has engaged you and you are meant to provide safety of the entire community in terms of protection of lives and properties. But we have heard about situations like this, like that, like that. What can you say about it? They begin to tell you their problems. I did a research like that. And I want to tell you that the revelation from the members of the community, they say that they complain that the members of the community do not pay them their remuneration as at when due. And that's why sometimes if they have opportunity somewhere, they used to leave their communities and go and share because they also must struggle to survive. I don't know what I'm communicating, madam.
Yes, sir.
These are part of the things. So if you don't do that,
because the research is meant to provide answer to certain problems. Am I communicating? So for me, after that particular study, the community should be able to see how they can implement the findings of that research. Since the problem is because they don't properly take care of the welfare of their the vigilante security agent, then they should do that and see whether there will be changes. If they happen to do that and nothing change, then that may become subject of further investigation. Do you understand, madam?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's your personal experience. Any other question?
I want the clearance of the second position. Key something literature. I have not captured that.
Which one is the second? External literature.
It's
You know,
after personal
you have to agree with me that is external literature. You see, it's part of the problem too. I think we can even use that as a research. Why I did that? Some people have clear network and some people don't have clear network. Literature. Literature has to do with all relevant materials. Extant literature. Extant literature.
Okay.
EXTANT. So that is it. So I want to believe that we are all together.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Once you are
Yes,
able
sir.
to get it, when you are able to get it right at a level of research, I want to tell you that most of the things, even if you are going to have problems, it will be minor. But if you don't get it right at the level of research problem, I want to tell you that you are not going to, you will not get it right at the end of the day. Can somebody tell me the area of his research or his topic? And let's see how we can talk about how we can come up with a research problem. Can somebody tell me?
Good evening, sir.
Evening, how are you? Who is speaking?
It's Raymond speaking.
Okay, Raymond.
Yes, sir.
You know, you are a student of which program?
Peace education and
what is
peace education and conflict
peace
management.
Education?
Yes.
That's very good.
Yes.
What you must have a proposed topic in mind.
Yes, sir.
What is the topic?
The impact.
Remember, your topic must be related to your discipline.
Oh, sure.
Impact of what?
The impact of the farmers' headers clashes. The impact of the farmers' headers clashes on agrarian communities in Benue State.
On agrarian communities.
Yes.
In Benue State.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever come across any study like that?
No, I've the topic.
Have you
is
ever seen any study on headers farmers conflicts?
No, I have not. My topic, the choice of this topic is born out of my own experience of the plight of the IDPs in Benue State.
Okay.
Yes. That was what informed. Now. Yes.
Is it? Okay, your concern. You are looking at the. So is it the impact of the conflict on intellect displacement or the impact on agrarian economy? Because there are two different things. These are part of the issues that you need to address.
Yeah, so my concern is on the plight of the agrarian communities, like they have found themselves in IDP camps where they are living in inhuman conditions, and the death tolls that are being recorded in those places, the children who are coming out of those experiences without education and then civil training and other things, name them. Those are the things I want to address as regards my research.
It means you know the problem. So there's no need for you to investigate them, because I've heard you talking about the impact. They are coming out of, if you are doing a research.
Yes.
If you are coming with a mindset about the given phenomenon based on your review of extant literature, am I communicating?
Yes.
So long as you could not find any study that discusses that particular phenomenon within the context of your research at that material time, that become part of the basis of your research.
And if
Yes.
that thing happens somewhere, you don't know what it is here. That's why you want to do the research.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That's why you need to do. You need to be able to say, okay, a number of studies have been conducted about farmers-herders conflict, because the essence of every agrarian economy is to provide adequate food supply. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Adequate food supply.
Yes.
And the moment there is crisis between farmers and herders, it will affect the supply of food.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not. And if you're talking about supply of food here, you're talking about food security. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
You're talking about food security now. So every
Yes.
food security, better is you look at how the herders farmers conflict affect food security. And in that case, when you're trying to do that, you should look at these indices of food security.
Yes.
You should look at how the crisis affect food availability. How does it affect food availability? How does it affect food accessibility? How does it affect food affordability? You know, we talk about availability, accessibility, affordability, and we talk about utilization of food. All these things are indices of food security. So it's better if you use the word, instead of using agrarian, use the word food security.
Okay.
You understand?
Thank you, sir.
Because if people don't go to farm, it will affect the food supply. You understand? Within that period of time, definitely it will affect the food supply. So your statement of problem should revolve around the fact that studies have been carried about. You have not been able to see any work related that actually talked about Benue State, maybe. Or if you have seen that, it's likely it has not clearly bring out what exactly you intend to do in your own research. Are we together? Maybe other ones try to listen from the point of view of the members of the community or members of the public. Now you want to find out from the point of view of the people who have been displaced as a result of the crisis. To find out whether we have enough food supply among the IDPs. Whether we have, whether the food at the IDP is accessible. I have seen somebody who tried to look at how this kind of conflict affects health security among IDP, internally displaced persons in a particular state. So here you can talk about the availability of the healthcare services within IDP towns. You talk about the affordability. You talk about the accessibility of all these facilities. It's one thing to have a facility. It's another thing for it to be
accessible. Yes.
For instance, we have food in the market. We have food in the market. All of us market, we have food, but it's not everybody can access it.
Yes.
It's not everybody can afford it. I don't know what I'm communicating.
Yes, sir.
So this is how you should look at the issue and come up with some of the major research questions that you will try to answer in the course of your research.
Thank you very much, sir.
Give us another question?
Thank you.
Can anybody give us another question?
Hello, sir. Another topic, sir. An assessment of peace building policy and program in Plateau State, Nigeria, 2000 to 2024.
An assessment of peace building programs in what?
Policy. An assessment of peace building policy and program in Plateau State, Nigeria. From 2001.
Assessment of peace building policies and programs and policies. Your problem now should be, a number of policies and programs have been introduced, have been implemented by the government of Plateau State. Then possibly you can even mention the programs. You can provide the major content of the programs. However, despite all these programs, we still have some pockets of conflicts here and there within the same state. Crisis here and there. So as a result, your study intends to find out whether there's any significant impact that these programs have made in the life of the communities living in Plateau State. To what extent?
Yes.
You understand? So it's going to be an assessment study, an
Yes,
evaluative
sir.
study. You are trying to evaluate a program. To what
Yes, sir.
extent does it actually positively impacts in the life of people, in
Yes, sir.
ensuring peaceful coexistence among the various groups in Plateau State?
Yes,
Am I communicating?
yes, sir.
So that is how you go about it. All of you in your respective area of research, this is how you go about it. That is how to come with a research problem. Because if you don't get it right, honestly, like have been emphasizing at the level of research problem, you will miss everything in your research. Because a research problem is what will guide you in the coming up with your research questions. Research question is what will guide you in coming up with your research objectives. Am I communicating? And
Yes, sir.
your literature review is revolves around your specific research objectives. You can see everything is coming up directly from where research problem. Research problem gives by to the research question gives by to research objectives, and research objectives actually inform your review of literature empirically. That's empirical review of literature. Even the methods you are going to adopt is determined by the nature of your research problem. And the findings also must be in connection with your research objectives and research questions. So all these things must reflect the research. So the moment you miss a level of research problem, I want to tell you that you miss the entire work.
Mm.
You miss the entire work. So it's very, very important for us to understand what we mean by research problem.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question? This is 6 p.m. because I will raise here. Any other question?
Sir, good
I'm
evening,
seeing
sir.
Matthias.
Good evening, sir.
All right, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Please, sir, I need you to help me tweak this
Evening, how are you?
research
Well done.
topic. Thank you, sir. Sir, I said I need you to help me tweak
Okay,
this research topic, evaluating the impact of
okay.
environmental degradation on the incessant conflict in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. Did you get it, sir?
Assessing assessing the impact of environmental degradation
Yes,
on
sir.
the incessant conflicts in the Niger Delta, Nigeria.
Region of Nigeria. Yes, sir.
Am I correct?
Region of
Niger
Nigeria.
Delta
Yes,
region.
sir.
Of Nigeria. So you are looking at the environment. Yes. You know, environmental degradation, for example, with particular reference to Niger Delta, it means that it will bring about limited resources.
Mm.
And remember, by the time we have limited resources, whether you like it or not, the people there will fight over the limited resources that they have.
Yes,
You
sir.
remember in economics, they say that our wants are manifold, but the resources to achieve our wants are limited. In other words, human wants are all limited, but the resources to achieve all those things are limited. And because of that limitation, people fight to see that Mr. A will want to be the one to possess it, Mr. B will also want to be the one. So many people are struggling to see that they have possession of a particular product or object. Because of that, because of what? Because of its limitation. So you are trying to find out how does that bring about conflict? In what ways? Because it is not only environmental degradation that bring about conflict, but now, if they are saying that this is what brings about conflict, you want to find out.
Yes, sir.
In practical terms, you want to hear from the point of view of the people living in that community, in those
Yes, sir.
particular communities within the Niger Delta region. How does that actually bring about a problem? You understand? Is it
Yes.
that the resources they generate doesn't go around? You may not know. It's likely the problem is not because they don't have the money, but it's likely because their leaders do not give them what belongs to them. Somebody somewhere will tell you that through Niger Delta Commission and the Ministry of Niger Delta, people from Niger Delta are getting enough resources from Nigerian government. But you begin to wonder what is happening. Someone will tell you that the money doesn't get to the target population, target audience, target beneficiaries. Am I communicating? So, but
Yeah.
you cannot just rely on the hearsay. those hearsay can help you to build what we call a tentative position, and that's why in research you tend to come up with a hypothesis. At the end of the day, you try to find out whether what the hypothesis you have stated at the early hour is true or not by validating or testing the hypothesis. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
In the course of my interaction, we're going to do a bit of statistics. This around, I want to go further to even touch aspect of hypothesis testing. It's very important, especially for those of you that are doing PhD. You need to test hypothesis. It's very, very important. So we're also going to talk about that. How do we test hypothesis? What do you mean by it? How do we state it in the first place? And if we state it, how do we validate it? How do we test it? Because testing hypothesis is not only a matter of choice. There are statistical measures that you can apply to test hypothesis. It's not a matter of choice. It's a matter of what is most appropriate. Somebody will tell you that I'm using chi-square. If you ask him why you can't, you say that he may tell you that because chi-square is simple. No, it's not a matter of simplicity. It's a matter of which measure can give you the best result. I hope we're together. We're also going to discuss about that before your exam, inshallah. Any other question for the last time? I'm seeing my dog.
Yes, let me try one, Prof.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay, I'm listening.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, this is my topic: evaluating the impact of peace education and conflict management on humanitarian service in Lagos State. I don't know that. I don't know if that topic is.
You are trying to assess how. You are trying to find out. You can say you must not even say evaluating. You can say it, the impact of peace education on what?
Peace education and
impact
conflict
of
management.
Peace education
And conflict management. On humanitarian.
Let me advise you. You should avoid using. You should avoid using different peace education. Conflict management are two different things.
Yes, sir.
So you are using the two as independent variable, and it's advisable you should choose one. If you are using conflict management, use conflict management. If you are using peace education, please use peace education. If you combine the two, you don't have a problem.
All right, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, Prof, my own turn.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Prof.
Your turn, go. Victor.
Hello, Prof. Yes, please.
I'm with you. It's your turn.
Okay. And my turn to shine. My turn, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to look at.
So you can shine.
Yes. A study of cases of drug abuse and crimes amongst youth in rural areas.
In rural communities of which local government area or which state?
It's quite local government in Abia State.
Okay.
And then
you can have it this way. There are different ways you can say that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm with you.
Yes, I have one other concern, and it is the negative impact of the absence of written records in conflict management and security, also in rural area.
You have already taken a decision now because you have said that you are talking about negative impacts. You don't know whether the impacts are negative or positive.
Okay, let me
allow the research to reveal to you whether the impacts are negative or positive.
Thank you, Prof. Okay. The impact of the absence of written records, documentation in conflict management and peace security.
Before I forget, the first one you raised, that of substance abuse and crime among rural, I think is one of the issues that has been resolved because most of the criminals that we have today, there's a research I'm doing presently about crime and policing among rural dwellers in Nasarawa State. Is to find out the nature and the essence of criminality in the rural areas, and two, what's the nature of policing? Do we have any reality of policing in the rural areas? If we do, What kind of, because policing goes beyond only using law enforcement. In policing, you can equally use informal policing agencies. So the research is to bring out what kind of approach, what methods of policing do they use in rural areas in trying to enforce or to manage criminalities or to prevent crimes. You understand? And so on and so forth. Somebody somewhere will tell you that all rural areas have police outward. For me, I don't know. There are rural areas that you go, you don't see them. It is that they are being posted and they don't go, or what have you. It is the research. Don't try to take a decision or to conclude from the beginning of your research. At the beginning of your research, no. Allow your research to reveal to you this is the problem. So don't take a decision. Okay. Like the other topic you mentioned, you say negative impact. I say no. You don't have to say negative impact. You remove the adjective negative. You understand? Yeah, use the word impact. It is the story that will reveal to you
whether it's negative or positive, and whether it's deep enough.
Because everything that you have has its positive and negative connotation. Somebody somewhere will tell you that even crime is functional. Somebody will tell you crime is functional. Do you agree with that?
Crime is functional?
Hello? Yeah, somebody will tell you that crime is functional. I know. And he can give you explanation. Do you want me to give you explanation to that? Hello?
Please do. Please, yeah, Prof. Give us. It's interesting to hear.
Let me tell you. If we have increase in the crime incidents in Nigeria, I would make it will force government to create employment to bring in more police officers. I hope we're together. The increase in criminality would reveal to the government that yes, the people are not enough. The law enforcement agents are not enough. Therefore, it creates job opportunities for the people. Are we together? It creates job opportunities for the people. So it is functional. Without that, government will never even think of recruiting more police officers. More.
No, government should recruit more teachers.
I hope we are together.
Prof.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes,
this is not one of them. Yes, I'm with you. You can talk.
That also depends on if the conflict of the crime is as a result of insufficient manpower to police the given population.
Yes.
You can conclude that yes, there is the need for additional manpower. But if the cost
let me tell you.
Yes,
it is very clear to all of us that the law enforcement agents we have in Nigeria, they are not enough. We should know that.
We are talking in research.
And by the time we see, even in research context, of course. Now, if I request you should tell me the number of police officers that we have in Nigeria, the ratio of a police officer to the Nigerian population, how many do you have? That is a research now. You can get statistics from the NBS. And on that basis, you can try to interrogate how do they manage, how do they provide safety to the people. I hope we are getting the point.
Prof, sir.
I'm with you.
Yes, but you know that this can be order that could crime be as a result of insufficient manpower to police the population. Could crime be a function of insufficient personnel to police to man the population?
Yeah, of course now. That's one of the factors. Yes. Let me take you to a particular theoretical orientation in criminology. We call it routine activity theory. What they are saying is that crime is a function of the interplay of three major factors. That for crime to take place, there must be convergence in time and space of three major factors. Number one, the suitable targets. The suitable targets here has to do with the subject of attraction to the criminals. What attracts the attention of the criminals? Number two has to do with the motivated offenders. Motivated offenders. If you have what will attract the attention of the criminals, and you have people who have intention to commit the crime, there's likelihood for that crime to take place. Number three, when there are no capable people to guard you. I am telling you, if you can have police officers all over our streets, it's difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's difficult for the people to come and steal. If you can have in all our streets in Nigeria, are they enough to cover all those our streets? And that is why it is as a result of that that you hear people talking about state police, people talking about community police, and so on and so forth. The community policing was a particular philosophy that was even introduced. I think it was by President Olusegun Obasanjo in 2004. And even the police also encouraged that, knowing fully that they don't have enough manpower to ensure the security of life and property for every citizen in this country. Those ones are meant to complement. They are meant to complement. We are all together in this country when at a point in time the IG of police, I can't remember which one, that said all the people that are following all these politicians should all come back because they need more hands to fight insecurity. Are we together?
Yes,
we are. So we are not saying that we are not saying that is the only factor, but it's also part of the factors. It is easier for somebody to come to a place that doesn't have any security agent to come and steal and go away than to go to a place that has, even if it is only 2 armed police officers. It's difficult. Before they enter, in fact, they will think 100 times. But where it is evident that they don't have, there's nobody there to protect life and property, I'm telling you, they'll go there easily, do whatever they want to, and go freely.
You are right, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. Thank you very much. We will stop here. We'll continue. We'll continue.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
In as much as I want to agree.
So please say it quickly.
Yes, quickly. In as much as I want to agree with your position that yes, the police personnel are understaffed. The number is quite short. But I would want us to emphasize the need to behavioral change, so that we have a society where there will be very few or almost no crime, so that you don't stress yourself about having people to police you. A good example in a stadium of over 50,000 people. You will in what we watch in Europe, you will have not more than 20 policemen or so manning the place, and it will be sufficient to guide the stadium, because the propensity to even commit crime is very, very low. But here in Nigeria, bring an equal number of policemen to a gathering, you discover that the situation is different.
Okay, that is why some of us who are coming from the sociological background will tell. Hello.
I think
that is why some of us who are coming from the sociology background will tell you that. Listen to me.
Yes,
will tell you that the propensity to commit crime from that particular society is low because the society is friendly. It's friendly to them.
Yes.
Not only that, sir. Not only that, the society is friendly.
I remember somebody somewhere his mates in the farm got an information that, you understand. They went and started harvesting his maize from the farm. The first thing he said is that you don't blame them. They are hungry. They are hungry. Are you getting it? There must be something that must actually force some people to do something. There must be something that will force them. So you can't compare the atmospheric condition of those society with the Nigerian society. If I tell you to describe the situation of a common average citizen in Nigeria, you will tell me.
Hello, sir.
There is another thing, sir. So don't worry. Thing to take into consideration.
We are going to continue. Don't
Okay.
worry. You know,
Okay.
these are issues that are practical in nature, and if we continue to discuss about issue until the next 2 to 3 hours, don't worry. When
All
we meet
right,
our
sir.
next class, we are going to look at these issues and discuss about them
Thank
because
you,
we are
Thank you,
all
sir.
sir.
scholars that are meant to provide solution to the Australia problem. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very
Thank you,
much,
sir.
Thank you,
and see you
sir.
next time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
bye.
you. All right.
Bye,
Thank
sir. Bye, Prof.
you so much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Prof.
you
Bye
very
bye.
much. All right.
Remember the days we were young, wild and free, basic getting